in terms of scheduling. The reason why I say it is we do have a lot of projects coming up, and the ideal thing would be is to space out kind of announcements or releases so we can have a consistent flow of, new things coming for One Hive and having stuff that we can publish and bring in new users as a marketing DAO. So like if we had, say, Agave come first or we have mainnet come first, we need to kind of space it out so it's not all cluttered at one, so we can give full attention to each project and what they deserve, for, hyping it up. So if we do Honey on Main, which I know that it's already there, but, there's no user interface and stuff like that yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, if we can just plan it out, say week by week, have a release, or every 2 weeks have a release, that would be my ideal situation. That way we can organize some of the content that is required, like graphics, have the admins ready to go on tweets and Instagram and all the social media channels, have people organized in the tech support and onboarding people, so we have kind of a smooth sailing flow when people enter in, and that's kind of my idea behind it. I don't know what you guys think we should do, but I think overall spacing things out would be ideal, and it would give everyone time to work on things and plan things out.
Yeah, what you said is like cool stuff. Like I agree with you. Like there's nothing to say about what you said. Like it's cool stuff. But
Okay.
how you planning to make sure that we get the most buzz around this project?
So we have. I've only spoke to Monstrosity very, very briefly about Agave and what's planned out for that, and there's like airdrops that they're planning to do, and there's stuff like that. So my idea would be is to obviously create the buzz with what we have, but if we can integrate some of the social influencers, like the YouTube influencers, maybe at the end, like Will suggested, if we have like 2 or 3 things that we can announce with one of the YouTubers, that would be ideal. So if we had, say, Agave, Honey on Main, and Celeste all at once, and have, for example, Chico Crypto cover it, that would be sweet. Because if we are only doing one, it's pretty expensive. Like it's over 5,000 is like the smallest amount that he's accepting for sponsored videos, and ideally the $10,000 range, the $10,000 package that he has would be ideal for us. It gives us about 3 to 5 minutes that could easily cover and hype up all the projects that we have, like 3 projects that we have going on. And then we could always lead into other ones. But mostly what I want to do is I want to kind of surround the idea of an airdrop for the influencers, because when like one influencer does it, there's like a chain reaction of like 10 to 20 other people doing it and talking about it. So if we pay one person, we can have a compounding effect. We did see that with the first Chico Crypto video. He had something about HoneySwap and stuff like that, and then there was like 5 or 6 other YouTubers talking about airdrops and HoneySwap doing airdrops, which, I mean, it's not good because it's wrong information, but at the same time it does create buzz and does bring people in. So ideally we'd want a cluster of projects for the paid promotion versus individual promotions when we're doing something that's paid for. If we want to do a smaller budget promotion, we can, with paid advertising in Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or any other platform that you guys can think of. We can do that as well. But the only thing is we don't have a lot of data yet captured on Google Analytics for us to really make it effective and see where we're targeting. If that makes sense for you. Or anyone else that has any questions, feel free to say something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I mean, I get it.
No.
No.
What we really need to know is how is Celeste going to release their stuff? Are you guys gonna just one day just say, hey guys, it's ready to go, everyone log in, or are you gonna give us some time and we can play around and make some videos and buzz and do stuff like that?
What I was saying to Boring before you joined was that basically Celeste isn't, once it's on testnet, then we can start writing documentation for it involving screenshots and things. And that should be, I mean, the guy said maybe hopefully at the end of next week. But in the meantime, it's kind of hard to write a lot about it, and it's kind of hard to communicate how it works and just basically how it works, such that we would be able to work out how to market it reliably, I guess. So yeah, we're not going to have anything on testnet probably until the end of next week, and then from that point, it will be at least 2 weeks, more likely 3 or 4 weeks before it's released on mainnet or XI. Sorry. So there's going to be it's going to be at least a month before we get through it. But there will be at least 2 to 4 weeks after creating the
probably have after we get the testnet release spun up and you can do end-to-end QA, probably have maybe some bounties and maybe just a call to action for people in the community to test it and try and find bugs. And through that process, I think a lot more people in the community will have a strong understanding of exactly what the changes will be, because you'll have changes to one hive and conviction voting, allowing disputes and all that stuff too. So it'll be pretty big in terms of changes that people will be able to get a handle on and learn about. So it'd be great to have more people, even non-technical people, going through that process on testnet, and we can write a QA guide. But yeah, the more eyes on it we can get, the better, and the more understanding we'll have.
Yeah, the ideal thing for Celeste would be we have everyone go in that's local and come test the platform out and see where we can find a good way to market it. My ideal scenario, if I understood Celeste correctly, would be to market it in a sense of people are able to make money off Celeste. You stake your honey and then you wait for disputes. You read the documents and then we literally show people that we're making money. That way people are attracted to the actual project, and then they can learn more about it and learn about disputes and all this. And now I'm a judge, and now I can make money by just sitting on the computer and just reading and making sure that everything is correct. That would be an ideal scenario. But maybe there's other use cases for Celeste that I'm not sure about. Will, if you want to fill me in on that.
Luke?
Yeah, so I mean, I think in terms of attracting stakers to the system, that totally is the benefit, right? You lock your honey, you kind of earn passive income, and you might get drafted occasionally to resolve an online dispute or moderate a dispute. And the more integrations we build, the first one will be one hive proposals. We have honey quests in the pipeline as well. The more integrations we build there, the more possible disputes you'll have, and the higher the earning potential will be. Early on, we'll probably end up doing quite a bit of honey sort of proposals that go and provide rewards as well. And this would kind of replace the faucet in many ways in terms of a thing where people can stake their honey and earn rewards. That way we can kind of bootstrap the ecosystem and build precedents and all of those things that you won't want to do if you're integrating. You want to be able to see active people participating. So we can definitely do that early on as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking that Monstrosity had said, there might be 1 to 2 airdrops for Agave, maybe more. It's all kind of community dependent, and it would be nice if we could include, say, be a participant in Celeste, and that way you can be eligible for an airdrop and then have some kind of form of action for users to become acquainted with our applications that we build out, and that way we could say, hey, if you are if you provide LP tokens on mainnet, and if you do stake on Celeste, and then you're eligible for the agave drop or something like that. That would be ideal for showcasing our products and then not completely destroying our economy with airdrops.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing that I've been thinking about, and I'll write up a proposal, is a iteration to bring back farming on HoneySwap without using honey, so that we can do like early, like pretty significant early rewards for LP providers and help bootstrap that on like an ongoing basis without funding that with honey and creating sell pressure on honey. I think that would also be something that would be useful for promoting.
Yeah, I would like to see some kind of partnerships with other DAOs that don't have farming, and then ideally we'd get them to stake their own tokens and reward people with their own farm. Because I know like there's the NFT guys that have their own stuff with Unifty, but if we can, for example, get cold truth tokens on the farms, and you stake cold truth in XDAI or something like that, then you get rewarded in cold or something like that, and then you have other projects that are all just they're using our farm page as a hub, but we're not necessarily destroying our economy like honey. And then you could say, yeah, is there farming on HoneySwap? Yeah, there's farming on HoneySwap. Go here, and then you can farm different community projects or whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Some programs like that would be good. I know Colony is launching soon-ish. I don't know their timing. They're short on details there. But when they do, anybody that has a Colony will also be issuing a token. And I'm going to talk to Jack about like what's involved in creating sort of a plugin or extension that would allow them to immediately provide liquidity on HoneySwap with their native token as well. And maybe if we create like a farming type reward, people could use that to launch like farming incentives and stuff like that.
Yeah, essentially most people want to increase the price of their project, right? So if we say, hey, just come use our platform to stake your coin with XDAI or something, that would be ideal, because if we have just more liquidity in XDAI, then we'd have more volume coming to HoneySwap, and that's kind of what we've been struggling on for the last couple months after the big dip. So ideally, like, it's kind of a win-win for those guys. They don't have to build a platform. We help them out, just scooch them along, just say, hey, we can help you guys set up a farm here, and you can stake whatever token you want. If you want it to be XDAI, it could be whatever, and then they provide the reward, obviously, but that would give them exposure, and it would increase us. It would help us out on the volume side of things. But yeah, okay, so since we kind of have everything laid out, I kind of want to make a timeline. Monstrosity, are you there right now?
Yeah, I'm here.
So what's the timeline for Agave? Like, are we going to have a test like Celeste, so you guys are on testnet and we can go in and play with it and see how it works? Is that going to be like public knowledge? Can we go in right now and mess around with it, or is it going to be just a launch and then away we go?
Yeah, we do have some testing being done on, I think, Rank B. That's still going on. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do a token launch around mid-February. Maybe that's a little bit optimistic, and it's an aggressive timeline, I think, but hopeful. And if that's the case, then probably about 2 weeks after that, we can do the project launch. So in February would be the project launch. No hard dates; those are just estimates, and still every day we learn more. So
Okay, so if, for example, say everything goes well and we have our initial agave launch, and everything goes perfect, would you be able to sway the community and a vote to hold off on? I know that the first airdrop is obviously when all the stuff is being distributed, but you said there's going to be a second one potentially. If we use the second airdrop, can we tie it in with Celeste? So we wait for Celeste to say, hey, Celeste is ready to go. We need active contributors, and then you could say, we're using our airdrop to reward active contributors in Celeste, and so on. We can make
I think the only thing that's set in stone, and I shouldn't even say set in stone because it's up to the community to decide. But we've got an initial launch, and the launch is as limited as possible. We don't really want to do a lot with the initial launch because we want the community to be the one to decide. Community being the token holders of Agave to be the ones to decide the future of future launches. But I would say that I think, at least from my perspective, we would want just one airdrop. It could be a cohesive airdrop where it's planned with several things happening. But I don't think there should be a this is my opinion, so that's the reason why I'm hesitating. But I don't think personally that we want to do like an airdrop in 60 days and then another one 3 months from now and then another one a year from now. I think whatever we decide, it needs to be, one plan, a cohesive plan, and that could include the things you're talking about. And it can be spaced out or tied with like liquidity providing or however. But I think the idea of multiple airdrops, I don't know that we really want to do that. I think we have, one attempt at this, and I think we should try to make this one attempt a successful attempt. So the timing on that, I think is again up to the community, but I would suspect that we would try to tie it around. We do plan on doing kind of a V1 upgrade. This MVP is really kind of like a beta testing where, yeah, we'll have liquidity on it, we'll be using it, and everything should check out and be good. But it's going to be very bare bones and basic. And so, as we kind of identify improvements to the Agave platform, we'll then use that to essentially establish like what we do with the V1, and then that's where I think that V1 would be around the same timeline as a airdrop to other communities to basically bring in investors and users of the platform. And like you said, it could be tied to Celeste somehow and marketing and all that. I'm all game for that. But again, it's the Agave token holders that decide that.
So Monstrosity, just to be clear, when you're talking about one airdrop, you mean post initial launch?
Correct. One post initial airdrop. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So so if we have an airdrop, so when I say airdrop, I mean after the initial launch. So you obviously have the first ones where you've already determined the token holders or the addresses, and then we have, say, the second one. The second one is where I want to tie everything in. So if we have Celeste tied in with that would be ideal. The only reason why I say this is because airdrop makes such a big impact on marketing. I was monitoring some of the projects with the airdrops, and I was just noticing Staked Out, for example. They had they had 1,000 members when I joined their Telegram, like all asking like, when drop, when this is not working, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end, like I think this week, it's like around 3,400. So like the increase in users is kind of what we're going after, right? So the increase in users, brings popularity to the stuff, and then we could tie in everything together. So like if we have the airdrop tied in with Celeste and we have it tied in with, say, Melon, I'm not sure the timeline on Melon yet, but if we have all these things tied together, like we can minimize our cost for, making our economy shittier by distributing more coins, but at the same time, we'd be pumping, 3 or 4 projects at once, which is what we really want to do.
So I think maybe a good timeline for this second airdrop would be V1 of Agave, which integrates with Celeste. So it would be MVP Agave, which happens first, and then Celeste would come out in a month and a half, and then we'd do the necessary changes to Agave to integrate Celeste into it, and then we could do an airdrop for like I don't know Celeste users or however we want to set that up.
Yeah, for sure. So
it would be like a part of the Agave ecosystem, or it would be like integrated with the platform at that time, which would be cool.
So the idea for this meeting was to, establish a timeline. So if we can say that Agave is our first trigger for this plan, we can we can have the buzz guys focus on Agave, and then we can build out from there, right? So if we can, get anything you can think of, like posters or tweets out, content on the forum, all the stuff that we can do without actually paying for it, that's top on the list.
So I think Honey mainnet obviously is first, and then Agave launch, and then the actual project launch, and then Celeste testnet would fall around that time, but obviously it's testing, and then some of that end to end bug testing and so.
What about the Matic bridge and HoneySwap-O-Matic? Is that?
Good point. It's very big.
Is that before or after Agave?
We could do it in between Agave and Celeste. That way, it can build hype between the two chains too. So that would increase, say, our users coming into OneHive, because they know that there's an airdrop. They're also exposed to it on Matic, and then we could say Celeste is part of it too.
Okay.
Is there going to be an interface built for bridging Honey to main, or how does that work? Or just the devs know how to do that?
I think Chrisog submitted a PR, and I think we're just waiting for the PR to get put into the UI. Do you know, Luke, what's going on there?
Sorry, can you repeat? I'm a little bit multitasking.
Do you know what is going on with the UI between with the UI changes that allow Honey to be transferred to mainnet via the Omni bridge? I thought it was just a PR that Chrisog submitted.
Yeah, so I've gotten an update today. But there was a PR, there was a requested change, because I guess they changed the requirements for AMB extension exceptions. And he submitted those changes, and so we're just waiting on the response.
Okay, so yeah, it should be live soon then, probably.
We can also bridge manually if we really wanted to get stuff over to Matic, or if we wanted to have a few people start the liquidity pool, if that's helpful. We can manually do it via the contracts now.
I think it would be good to have just the LP set up as quick as possible, even if the UI is not quite ready. But it sounds like it's really close. That's cool.
That's the Omni bridge, right? That's what we'll be using.
Yeah, it'll be the same interface as the Omni bridge. You'll just see Honey listed.
So we're just waiting really on Igor to accept the PR?
It's Raid Guild, I think, that actually is maintaining the deployment, not Igor, but Igor them as well, to get a little bit of urgency.
Isn't Chris OG part of Raid Guild? I recall seeing his name there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a Raid Guild member, but Raid Guild is it's like a dev shop DAO, and he's not on the project that is actually maintaining that deployment.
Gotcha.
but he knows the guy, and they're working closely.
So this is my proposition. We wait for the PR, and then we start pushing that, honey's on mainnet. You can use the Omni bridge now to bridge honey. Luke, are you still doing anything with Rogue on the liquidity side of things?
I mean, I was planning once it was like easy, I could manually do it, but I was just sort of waiting for the thing, and then I was going to do honey ETH as the pair, and add some liquidity. Hey, Chris.
Hey.
We were just talking about the Omni bridge and honey on main.
Yeah.
What's the status on the PR?
It's been merged. And the guy told me to test it on the staging URL. I tested it and it did not work. So he's sleeping right now. So I hope that it gets like fixed once he wakes up, and hopefully yeah, there still have like a few bugs at the UI in general, not related to honey or anything like that. This is just like general bugs that they have to fix. So yeah, I don't have like a exact date, but at least all our changes have been merged, and hopefully tomorrow we will have like all of them working, being optimistic. But yeah, that's up to them until they fix this issues, and then after. But we have one thing for sure is that we will have a way to reach money to mainnet on the UI as soon as they upgrade the UI.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, so if we can create then the hype around honey on main, and then one second, just writing out a schedule.
So we do want to wait for the UI though before doing the LP thing then.
Yeah, I think so. Unless Luke wants to do it in advance, I think the ideal thing would be to wait so others can also provide liquidity, so it's not just Luke and maybe a few others doing it. That would be kind of a little less draining.
My intuition was like if we just kind of launched the thing, and then the people that are wanting to provide liquidity can provide liquidity, it'll be more of an event than if you're like, oh well, it's bridged, you can kind of manually go through and it's exclusive and there's like a little bit of liquidity here, but like the bridge isn't like actually launched, so even if you wanted to participate, it'd be tricky. I think it just makes more sense to wait for it to actually be ready and then do it.
Would you be open to partner with Rogue, Luke, and split LP tokens to say you provide honey and he provides ETH or something like that? I know it's not an ideal environment for you because you are going to be kind of private selling in a sense, but it would kind of attract people to make trades because the slippage, it sucks when it's shitty volume and shitty liquidity.
Yeah, I mean that would essentially be me doing an OTC trade for honey for ETH with him, which I'm totally happy to do. I've got plenty of honey, and I'm mostly like, I don't want to sell because honey is like cheap, but if it helps the project and it's going to somebody like Rogue, I don't really care. But yeah, I don't think I haven't talked to him about that specifically. I don't think that's the barrier for him. I think he's got some honey and some ETH that he's going to add, and I'll add some honey and ETH. And
yeah, like if we're talking, say, like I think Rogue had spitballed like 50,000 in liquidity, which I'm not sure what your guys' ideas is on providing that, but it's pretty big amount if you're also forking that up, Luke. So it would kind of suck for you to be completely bone dry and trying to provide liquidity and do all these things. So if you're looking for that partnership, I think Rogue would be super down for that.
Hey Luke,
on honey.
Luke, if you're gonna dump some honey, let me know before you do it.
Yeah, same, dude. We already know Luke's waiting for the million for one honey.
Oh yeah, 10. I'm in Luigi's 10K club at least.
Okay, so back to the drawing board here on the timeline. So if we can get the mainnet launch maybe tomorrow or the day after, that would be ideal, and then we can create hype on main for the first week. So I have, I'll just say this is the first week right now. So if we have it done by Friday, we can have the weekend to prepare some stuff, create some bounties for some of the designers, and then start pumping it from the 8th would be the first week. And then on Sunday, say midweek February, would be the Agave announcement. We could have that going there. So we have week 1.
Which the only thing pressing on that is we do need a token symbol at some point.
Token symbol?
Whatever they're called. You follow me?
I know that you guys are talking about AG. But yeah, I don't know if there's a clear consensus on that.
Call it Lend. Ellen.
Right. I think we can do something like Badger did, where they just like opened it up and gave like a little bit of a bounty for first, second, and third place, and the project's called Agave, and it's tied to One Hive to some extent, and everybody just pitch in what they think it should look like.
Yeah,
and then we get first, second, third place.
Okay, so if we do say create a bounty on the 8th, for example, and we'll give 1 week to give suggestions, ideas, and compete for the best name. And then on Sunday, the 14th, it would give you guys an idea of what to do. Then you guys have the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. So it'd be like midweek, you could launch it. And then we could move into the end of February and Celeste launch that way. How does that sound? So we have 3 weeks there planned out.
Yeah, maybe we can use your marketing curating I mean, there may be a lot of different ideas there, but maybe we can use that for the votes. We can maybe narrow it down to maybe the top 15 or something. I don't know how many we're going to get, but like,
I think we had a polling. Yeah, we have a polling. We have a polling channel where we can actually probably put the bot in there too, and then they could just go up and down and or do whatever. Someone can do it manually too. I can just put thumbs up and thumbs down under people's names, and then people can just go vote on it. It's not a huge issue. But yeah, for sure, we could do similar to what Solar had done for the NFT contests. Do you also need token symbol, Monstro?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of floating the idea of AG around, and I don't know if that's already in the code or, so I don't know if we'll be able to change that. But like, we can still in the code it may be AG, but it's we can still change it.
Yeah. What about an actual image? Do you guys have one for it, or are you guys going to keep the little cactus?
No, we don't have an image. That's the thing. That would be all open.
Okay, so if we were to say create a bounty for Agave on the token name and token symbol, it could be 2 different ones, 1 symbol and 1 name, and then we could airdrop people some honey for that, and first, second, third for that. That would be pretty chill. Everyone cool with that?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be too much. I think Badger only did a couple $100 for first place. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We can do that. So, I'm just typing notes, guys. Give me a second. So I'm going to do 3 bounties for Agave then. So it'll be token name, token symbol, and then we'll have a flyer/media image that we can spread around and talk about Agave, kind of like what Boris has done for some of the stuff. I'm not sure if you guys have seen his designs. He's got some pretty good stuff. So yeah, we can have a competition for 3 different things, or 3 bounties for agave, and then we can move into Celeste week 4, and then start working with Will Griffin and his team to test out the platform, figure out the best way to promote it, and then that could tie into maybe a potential airdrop for agave after its launch. Everyone cool with that?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right, I think this meeting is pretty much concluded. So we have kind of a timeline. I'm going to publish a article on the forum describing the things we just talked about, how we can plan it out, and then create bounties for it. If anyone has any questions, concerns, please voice your opinion now.
No questions, but thanks, Josh, for setting this up. And I think it was a really productive call, and it's good to have timelines.
It was mostly boring, but yeah, I'll take the credit, sure.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Josh.
Boring.
Thank you,
No
Boring.
problem.
Sweet. Okay. Also, I want to talk to Berserk. I don't know if you have a mic or not, but it would be sweet to have some more articles produced on the projects that we're making right now. We can work together to create some content around it. So once it's ready, we can merge the Medium articles so people can have an actual physical document that they can read. I know that Luke said that Medium worked really good last time for when all the initial rush of users onboarded. So if we can have Medium articles for agave, Medium articles for honey on Maine, that would be cool. And obviously there's going to be bounties tied to them as well.
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. All right, guys. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to start hammering out this document for everyone to kind of brief up on. And yeah, if you guys have any questions that you think after the fact, just post it in the comments there. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. Take care. Bye.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.